We are live.
We are live. Hello, kids. Welcome back to another episode with reynateas. Yes, you know your spiritual workers out here, girl, doing it in this come up world, in this come up game. As always, reynateas is now open for readings and bookings as far as spell work. Come and get your consultation with us, and let's look at these avenues to provide solutions through magic. Yes, ma'am. So, hi, Raina. What's tea?
Child here,
Just here, right? Oh my gosh. The purpose of this show, okay, as the title suggests, we want to talk about not letting people, forums, different avenues, or just like your own fear or uncertainty and hinder you from pursuing your growth and development in magic, right? I was also gonna say, damn girl, you could barely turn on the news and there's always some shit popping off. But like I think that just totally be so sideways. But yeah, like the title is suggesting, I want to talk about like just going through the motions of, at least from my experience, of engaging in communion with spirits, new spirits, spirits that I perhaps have not worked with, goetic spirits, angelic spirits, foreign deities, Eastern deities, Middle Eastern deities, African deities, things like that, right? Deities of just different diaspora. A lot of times it's suggested when you start communion with the spirit, establishing rapport and a relationship with the spirit, you go through a process called preparatory immersion. We talked about this in another one of our videos. Preparatory immersion is where you give yourself time before you go smack dead into the ritual and call upon the spirit that you haven't had a chance to feel out their energy, research, their affinity, their personality, things that they like, dislike. So the preparatory immersion phase or stage usually happens before any working has begun. And you give yourself at least a week of, researching the spirit, meditating on the spirit sigil, calling the spirit, having quiet meditation with the spirit, chanting the spirit's end if they have one. But I want to also talk about the rabbit hole that kind of, I feel, can deter a lot of practitioners and people, maybe if they haven't worked with different, spirits and communicated with different spirits before, right? You go on a lot of these forums and you'll see maybe someone question, oh, well, how was your experience working with the spirit? Or I'm curious, I've considered working with the spirit, or, what was your experience? And then like you'll get this, a lot of times the response seems to try to deter people from working with the spirit. Now, truth be told, yes, there is caution that must be taken when approaching any sort of, foreign ancient deity. Yes, you are going to need patience, practice, diligence. It isn't something that I believe, a newbie witch or conjurer can just stumble into and just go in head first. No, you should get some avenues of warnings and proceed with caution, sort of forewarning. But I feel like the mass majority of what people say, especially on these forums, is like to deter you from working with the spirit altogether. Now, it's a different avenue on YouTube because I feel like people on YouTube kind of are more, they speak more about their experience with the spirit. A lot of them are praising the spirit. But in these forums, which I like to research forums more because I like, a lot of times in the forums, people, they may not tell you their whole entire ritual, or they may not tell you what the spirit was called for, but they'll give you a lot more meat and potatoes than I think a YouTuber would, just talking about, you know, working with the spirit, like just my experience. So in these forums, people go in and they give yes that they work with the spirit and this and this and that, but oh, be careful because this happened and you don't want to do this and maybe you shouldn't do this or you should find another spirit to work with. And interesting story is I myself, when initially approaching goetic magic and working with goetic spirits, I was pretty much afraid to work with a lot of different spirits because of these forums. You know, people's commentaries and that forewarning, like, look, you know. And truth be told, yes, you have a lot of nefarious spirits that, and here comes the rain. You know, literally, like,
Yeah, I can hear it.
The floodgates open when the girls are near. And it's funny, like, I think the last couple of shows that we did, like, it's been raining. The heavens open, and that's just how it is. Check out our other video. We brought the rain. Well, Raina brought the rain to California. Okay, being native of Florida witches, we're very much swamp type, water elemental, water, sky, and earth elemental type witches. Okay, so the weather does move over here. So she's raining. Is she loud?
No.
Okay. Working with a particular spirit, and I'm gonna do a video on this spirit because I want to give an appropriate what do you call it? Like when you give homage. I want to give appropriate homage, honey. So I'm not gonna name the spirit right now, but I was interested in working with this spirit because of a particular situation that I was in. And the spirit actually reached out to me through not only dreams, but just like signs and omens. And I still shied away for a very long time of working with that particular spirit, not only because of their I can't say physiological because it's a spirit, but from what I read that the spirit looked like, okay, it was a spirit that had a very kind of frightful appearance, and that kind of threw me off too. I was like, okay, like maybe she ain't gonna be too kind, you know, me coming up in here looking like this. So it took a while, but I was continuously over the months getting signs from the spirit, like that the spirit wanted to work with me. And here's the thing, a lot of times when you start your preparatory immersion, the spirits will already start letting you know if they're open to helping you with your situation, if they're open to communicating with you. Bitch, when you start getting them synchronicities and numbers like 222, 444, 555, 666, honey, that's them. You know, when you log in or turn on the TV or the radio and all of a sudden you hear their name or your name, you know what I'm saying? That's them. You know, when you find yourself in a situation and you see a depiction of something that is closely resembling their personification or what they are thought to look like, that's them. And that's them communicating with you that they are present and they are willing to work with you, you know? So how are you feeling about this whole topic of debate?
I completely agree. I completely agree with you. And of course, not letting people deter you. If you want to work with a spirit, look the spirit up, read about the spirit. I feel like a lot of people in forums, they want to keep this knowledge to themselves and they don't want people doing this type of magic. I feel like they want to keep the Goetia and the spirits kind of build a wall to keep certain people out and keep them afraid. You know, look, the only way you're going to become good at this is to practice, okay? Of course, you have to, you know, be respectful. I think that's the most important thing, is to be respectful to these spirits. You have to come into the ritual ready to speak with these spirits and then with knowledge. You can't just, look up a name and think, oh, that's it. You have to research and learn about this spirit, and you have to know your stuff as far as like what you learn. Once That's all you need, okay? And to be respectful. That's the most important thing, and know that this is real. And when the spirit comes through, you better walk through that door when that spirit opens that door for you to manifest what you want. Okay, this is not a joke.
Hello.
So
Yes. Yes. That's another thing too. Um, Once you have sat down and you're going in for the ritual for, and I would suggest, like, when you're working with these spirits, to do so outside. Like when you call for the ritual, or like when you're getting ready to call them down, or even before the ritual itself. Like, let's say you can't necessarily sit outside and do the working outside. I would say go out, have their sigil with you after you've done your preparatory immersion, you've done meditation with them, you felt the spirit out, they possibly telepathically communicated with you, and they let you know, like, I'm open to this. This exercise experience, communion ritual, whatever you want to call it, going outside, calling them down, and then going back inside to proceed with the ritual. I have noticed a lot of times working with certain spirits, depending on the elemental association as well, they come through. For example, the goetic spirit seer, they speak of him in certain writings and literatures that he comes upon the wind, he rides upon the wind, and he rides on a horse, and when I called upon him outside, I'll never forget, I got the overwhelming smell of like horse, okay, like horse ass kind of situation. It was strong.
yeah, I know that smell.
That smell, right? Horse ass, and it was real strong. And I was just like, okay, like it's just undeniable confirmations that the spirits are there. And I know we speak a lot of times about goetic, the goetic spirits and things like that. I have worked with angels, the angels themselves, like, it's a different energy that comes through when you're working with those types, because they're obviously on different planes of existence. Angels, it's a lot of times a very strong inner feeling, like you can feel it in your heart, you can feel it like in your body. It's very soothing, yet very strong. I don't know how to say, like, strong, soothing, and very much present. And you don't kind of have as much fear or because you're human, and you're working with the unseen. So to say that you walk into the shed like totally 0% fear is just like that's not real. Like, whoever says some shit like that, you must be an old ass sage, and you must just you must have a personal relationship with a particular spirit, and you've been working with them for years, so it's like, okay, y'all are just like cool like that. Or you are a acolyte or priestess to a specific spirit, so you don't, but other than that, when you're just communion with different spirits, you're a medium worker, honey, you're gonna have that anxiety in your heart, you know what I'm saying, when they come through. I don't really get that with the angels. With the angels, it's very much like a certainty in their presence. They're there, but it's like, okay, like, it's cool. But with the other, the goetic spirits and other type of spirits, it's kind of like, yeah, you might be feeling a little like, what's this coming through? Like, I can feel it kind of situation. And that's how you know it's real. But going back to the topic at hand, do your research. Take everything that you read with a grain of salt. Just because this particular person wrote in a form that they had, 5 silver coins, and they did this, and they placed a thing here, and they did the circle, and they called the angels, and they bound the spirit. This is another thing too. I I think it's kind of laughable when you go into the ritual really expecting to bind and confine a goetic ancient spirit. Like, there's no binding. You know, the girls are like, they'll go along, some of them will go along with it just to, like, you know, stroke your ego and let you feel like you're doing something, but those spirits cannot be bound. You know what I'm saying? Those spirits, not in today's age. I feel like, okay, Solomon back in his day, yes, he did that because,
I mean, did he?
Right.
Was this motherfucker even real? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
A lot of times,
okay.
allegedly, we have to allegedly keep bound the spirits. But even then, like, this motherfucker had a whole monument built entirely for ritual work. So, you know, like, pillars of certain elemental attributes, and bitch, on camelback, pounds and pounds of incense and herbs and different types.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a different world back then, I think, for a conjure worker. You know, to kind of like, bitch, he wasn't doing that shit in his closet, in his room, and he had a whole temple built for the motherfuckers. Okay, so yeah, definitely different time.
It was hardcore.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was hardcore.
Oh, what? Could you imagine? Could you imagine, like, I know the motherfuckers was giving faces in the smoke with just the pillars of rising smoke and incense and herbs that was rising up into the heavens, bitch. The motherfuckers was probably coming through, okay, possessing the acolytes in the ritual, honey, having the girls speaking in tongues. Yeah, that type of shit. So, you know, they understand that the world is different. And I feel like a lot of them very much do workings for us humans as a means to keep their memory and their presence alive in our culture, okay? Because they possibly have fallen, you know? I mean, in their realm, honey, they're still sitting, bitch. You know, they ain't really checked in for nothing over here. But I guess a lot of them do kind of enjoy meddling in human affairs. It's kind of like, I think we're very interesting creatures to them because of the fickleness, the infancy of our existence, the come and go. I mean, in the blink of an eye, bitch, we're here, then the next gone, then in the next 20, 30 years, who the fuck even remembers that we were around kind of situation. So I think it's like constantly for those entities like a sitcom, like the new season, the new episode, when you call them down and you're like, I need this, I need that, I need you to work through this, I need to work through that. It's like they're sitting, you know, in their realm, they are sitting, they are constantly worshipped by their legions, their deities, you know, they have their work. Possibly some of them are at war or in other type of affairs. So I think to take a back seat, not all of them now, because you have some spirits, and speaking, you know, through the Goetia, like you have some entities that like, they don't really fuck with humans like that. Like they'll fuck with you if you're really respected and you're magi, honey. You're like Obi-Wan Kenobi, bitch, type T. They'll give you that, but they still kind of scoff, you know, they kind of scoff at humans in a way just because of how fickle we are. But you have a lot of them that they enjoy working through us and creating avenues and receiving that accolade, that praise, that yes, honey, the spirit came through for me, bitch. I gotta give a testimony, honey. I gotta write a review. I gotta make a video kind of situation. A lot of them see that as payment. So what were we talking about? The world being a different place. So yeah, like don't let anyone kind of even tell you that, oh, you need this, and that, or you can't proceed. Now, if you're seeing the same conversation over and over again, like for example, you know, Astaroth, Azazel, those are the one, you know, Beelzebub, honey, like those are the ones that, yeah, you probably might want to have a little caution with. and have a little bit more experience under your belt. But a lot of the other ones, they have worked with so many of us before and have seen situations to the most elaborate of ritual rooms, to bitch sitting in your closet with a notebook, sheet, and paper, and candles, and sometimes not even candles, and that's it kind of situation. Doing it in your car, doing it in your office, doing it. They have seen it all. So don't feel like you need this elaborate kind of like display just to kind of keep it going. So I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to say in the show. Reyna, you feeling anything else?
I think you pretty much laid her out.
Yeah, don't let these kids deter you. Your pursuit of knowledge and seeing beyond the veil, seeing beyond the matrix of this world, seeing beyond, what the fuck the news is broadcasting out here is so fucking crazy. Like, and here's some real tea, like, and I said this to Reyna today, like, just yesterday, we had a school in the West, okay? We had a school shooting, another school shooting. The girls are really going ham about these guns. The spirit of death is reigning, honey. Like she's always been. But
Okay.
now we're getting a lot more coverage of who the fuck is dying. But the bitch has always been sitting here just citing the girls. What they say, chafing the wheat from the chaff. But yeah, just yesterday, the school shooting happened, and then today, they had like the royal wedding, and like it was funny because on the news, I don't really watch the news, but like sometimes it is on in the house, honey. And the same reporter who was giving like this sort of like this kind of fake sociopathic sympathetic, like, yeah, we had this mass school shooting yesterday, was the same reporter who was covering the fucking wedding. And he's like, yes, this what a beautiful, marvelous day. This is a blessing. And it's just like, wow, like look at the evolution of ourselves as a species when it comes to empathy and emotions and just like, I don't know. It was weird. It was very sociopath to me. It was very sociopath to me that you can sit there and, I get it's his job, yes, but just look at how that reflects over universally over our country, if not the world. Motherfuckers can be out here dying, and people would rather take out their phone to record the person dying than actually reach out to help. So I guess where I was going with that is, bitch, get your knives and your swords, honey, where you can get them. Magic is my armor, bitch. It is my shield. It is my bitch. When I'm sitting at the bottom of the barrel and the girls think they've closed the lid, honey, bitch, I am burning this motherfucker up from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? Like, find your way, because you can't really depend on this world to look out for you, and you can't really get lost amidst the masses and the paranoia and the pandemic and the episodes. And then one day is shootings, then we're supposed to be sad, then the next day, bitch, we're supposed to be happy and it's just like we're following all these other people's lives instead of correcting and evolving and developing in our own lives. Bitch, that's some truth, bitch. How is that for the testimony, bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
How is that? We need to step it up, because guess what? The powers that be, bitch, they're on these moon cycles, bitch. They're on these motherfucking blood sacrifices. They are on, these bitch people dying, these motherfuckers dying, mysteriously, and all these. Girl, trust, there is some sacrificial influx in that to bring these powers what they want and what they choose to do. Okay, so don't get your little piece too, bitch. Don't have these girls out here eating in front of you. And with that, I think we are done. We have another video coming up pretty soon. I think we're gonna do another video like right after, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do the Charmed review.
Yes, because Charm is back. Okay, from the '90s. You know, the Charmed ones, the sister of three, the power of three. They have a reboot, and we actually saw the trailer, so
we're gonna review her.
Our impression, yes.
And you know what? Maybe when the season comes out, we might review the episodes. We might do reviews.
I think we should. But if she's too whack, bitch, I probably won't make it.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Bye.